or jelly.
That is peanut butter on the top of my bun, and now on my fry, or my chip, as the UKs would call it. And apparently this burger has jelly. Check it out. I take the jalapenos off because I don't want to be too spicy.
You're messing up the way the burger is designed to be eaten. Then once you try it, if you don't like certain things, then go with that. But
peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
No, whole
burger.
sandwich.
Okay, it's not bad. I kind of like it. And once that peanut butter hits some jalapenos, it just tames them right down, then that jelly kicks in on the tail end. That's pretty damn good. Wow, I'm shocked.
Get off my hand!
Tomatoes! Wolf Tick Nation, we are out here today at Northwoods Trails in beautiful Hot Springs, Arkansas, and we're fixing to give you guys a little taste of what these Tektro M285 brakes have to offer. Budget brakes, they're under 120 bucks. We're fixing to put these things through the test today. We're going to take it to Ragnarok across the way here at Waterworks, and we're going to see what these things have to offer. Hopefully they do a good job of slowing me down. I'm just excited on that price tag, a name brand, what you can get yourself into the door with some hydraulic brakes. You know, they're not Zooms and they're not Shimano MT200s, but we'll see.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll see where they fare out with those. I'd say that's probably the closest we're going to get is probably those Shimano MT200s with kind of the comparison with these brakes.
Well, you don't know that. You're comparing before you even try it.
That's true. All right, before we get going on this trail, we're going to bed these brakes in a little bit. That's what I call bedding in. We're just going to do 3 rounds in the parking lot. Give the front a couple of good squishes. Okay. Give the rear a couple of good squishes. And then we're gonna hit it, man. All right, I think that's enough bedding in. Let's get after it. There, Walt. Trying to bed these brakes in. All right, so we're gonna talk about how we like these grips and the bars right now. Oh, and the pedals, we got the Fooker pedals on this thing. Just kind of see how we like all that stuff overall. And then we'll get up to Ragnarok and we're gonna start talking about the brakes. See how they do. So right away, I feel a huge difference. If you guys remember them Tri-Fox bars, the difference is great. With the width on these bars, and I'm not so over the front. You know what I mean? The damn Tri-Fox bars were nice. They were really cool looking. Great cross-country, uphill climbing bars, but these things here, these are 780 bars that Berserker sent us, and they are just nice and wide. We feel very good. And that little Pro Hansen stem, it's like 40 millimeters long, no rise. It's perfect now. Bike feels very good. We're gonna have to talk about these foam grips. Sloth, I don't know what to think about these things. I mean, they're comfortable. If you guys notice, I'm not wearing any gloves. I always wear gloves, but right now I'm not, because I want to get a good feel for these grips. And if they kind of slide in your hands, they're not sliding in my hands. They're damn comfy, but man, I'm not used to gripping on a pillow whenever I'm on a bike. It is strange. This bike is definitely living up to the Wolf Tick Diva Edition sticker we've got on the top tube there. Yes, these grips are definitely not my favorite. They are definitely going to take some getting used to. Let's just say that. God, the ledge. Been a minute since I rode this bike. Let me tell you something. I'm going to put this Exaform 588 rear shock in lockout. I'm going to lock out the front fork just because I can. We're gonna see if it feels any different in the climbing department, because it is taking so much of my energy away. Oh yeah. Feels like a good old hardtail now. So I'm really hoping these brakes are gonna stack up today with some of the better ones that we've tried on this channel. Again, they're more expensive than the Zooms. I'm sure that's gonna be one of them that everybody brings up. Probably those are the MT200s. This isn't a comparison video, but in that price range, it's kind of the only thing I have to compare to them before the prices just absolutely blew up on hydraulic brakes. Are they going to be 1-finger stoppers, 2-finger stoppers? Remember I was talking about in the shop that we were going to talk about the way the levers feel on the trails, if there's any flex in them. So I try to make sure I remember to mention that stuff on the trails. But no bleeding necessary on the right rear, which is surprising because there was some squishiness in the beginning. And I will say, guys, they've completely tightened up in a good way. And we'll see on the trails if there's any type of sponginess or anything with them, but we didn't have to bleed them, so I'm happy about that. We'll find out more when we're going faster and using them more. I kind of did bed them in, but I mean, it doesn't really count. All right, guys, you have a good one. All right, guys, here we go with the Tektro M285s, the Fooker pedals. We've got the Sloth foam grips, and we've got, what else we got? The Berserker bar. We've got some stuff on this full suspension now, and I'm looking at hitting up Ragnarok. This is Dreamcatcher here. I gotta get my full suspension legs. That's what I'm gonna call them from now on. Just got off of a hardtail, and this thing is a whole different animal. All right, and here we are, Ragnarok Tektros real-time review. I'm gonna start out with the 2 fingers, guys. And here we go. Oh, it's windy up here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Ooh, getting some air. All right, one of my favorite trails. Getting something. Hang on. Back camera is hitting the spoke. Okay, so right away. Oh, did not mean to jump over that rock. So the 2 fingers are definitely where these brakes are at. They're not going to be at 1 finger at all. They're grabbing decent so far. Let me see if I can do a 1 finger in these little slower portions. No, they're not wanting the 1 finger at all. I was going to mess with the reach adjustment. Whoa, golly, they're slowing me down. I was going to mess with the reach adjustment, but it seems like every time you start to mess with that, it kind of has a feeling like you bring it closer to the bar and then there's a bunch of squishiness there. So I just wanted to keep it the way that they sent it and then kind of go from there. All right, let's see how we do on this little berm. That was a 4 finger stop. 2 finger. All right, they're catching now. I think we're warming up, getting that fluid going. Whew. A little muddy out today. And I'm gonna have to see on this next time I have to stop, but it kind of feels like there's no pad movement, which I'm a big fan of, man. You get into some of them budget brakes, even those Tektro Velas or Velas that we have on the Comp Zerker, those ones have a lot of pad movement, and you can feel that. It almost feels like a ABS system trying to brake. Woo! And this right here, there's no pad movement. They are sticking directly on those rotors, and those rotors are working good too. I think with the big old 180s both up front and on the rear, I don't think we're gonna have a problem with overheating, especially on days like this. It's cool out. Okay, we're feeling it, we're feeling it. Oh yeah, we're feeling it. But yeah, they're sticking well. What I'm impressed with is that rear, we talked about a little earlier, even though I didn't have to bleed it, there's no squishiness. It's just the same right now as it was when we started out. Oh yeah, and that's surprising for a fork that's not, or for a damn brake that's not $150 brake. See if we can do a 1 finger stoppie. Okay, no stoppie, but I did slow down just with the front brake. Man, they didn't do bad at all. I mean, I was moving, and you can see on this rotor here, so you guys can see that, you got a little bit of discoloration, but I mean, there's some heat coming off of that rotor now. That was all front stopping right now. I do like the lever feel. I was kind of talking some crap in the shop and saying, man, it just feels very like cheap or chintzy. but there's no play in the lever. So every time you go to squeeze, you're actually getting a good bite on the brakes, and you can feel it making contact with them, with the rotors. And that goes both for the front and back. And again, man, that rear's not squishy at all. It's, you go right all the way to here, bam, and you're hitting that wall. So very impressive, especially, I mean, the trail conditions right now, they are a little muddy, but really not, I say that I did, but really didn't do a good job of bedding these brakes in, and they did pretty well out here. All right. All right, guys, well, I had to do the walk of shame, but luckily we were able to get the whole review done, right? So let's talk about it real quick. The Tektro M285 brakes, they did wonderful out here, stopping me. They didn't overheat, and the biggest thing I'm surprised with was every time we have to cut a hose down and reroute it, or we have to cut it down to resize it, we always have to bleed the brakes, it seems like. There's always a big air bubble in there or something, and that really affects us out in the trails if we don't bleed it. I didn't feel any differences between the start of the trail to the end of the trail. We did Ragnarok, and then we come back on Valkyrie, and that's where I got the flat where the walk of shame ensued. But for the most part, the Tektros were pretty nice. I do have to say, for it being a budget brake, I thought that the levers were going to be crap. I thought there's going to be a lot of flex in the levers, but they actually held up really well. I may go back and kind of tinker with them a little bit and adjust that reach adjustment, but for the most part, man, they felt just like they did when they come out of the packaging. So very happy with that. And lastly, let's do a real quick review of the Fooker Pedals, world famous. Cody D sent them to us. I think
what's world famous, the Fooker Pedals or Cody D?
Cody D, yeah, the pedals are just secondary, but the Fooker pedals, they did really well. I mean, my Sandugo shoes, they're really good flats, and they stuck on the pedals no problem. I would say they're just like the Race Face Chesters, just a different brand, and maybe just a couple of dollars more expensive. You know what I mean? But all in all, everything held up well today, except for my rear tire. The Kenda Amrax failed me, but Valkyrie's a little nasty on the tail end. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed watching that Wolf Dig Videos episode. We got the review done, and luckily I'm still here to talk about it. They stopped me, but we will see you guys on the next. Appreciate you watching.